Orbapalooza 2.0. There were some valuable lessons learned. What is the best Hydra 2.0 team? More rumors, all on your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. And if you're ready for that, brother Khasino, tell them what to do.
Oh, just a perfectly, totally normal day here. You know, we're just gonna let's go smash it like usual.
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. As usual, I am joined by my ever-controversial friend, Khasino. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. What's going on?
A couple things going on in the game. I guess we will struggle to talk about it again. I mean, Scopley never provides us with any news to talk about. It's always a stretch to do these news videos, but I have not talked to you in a long time. There has been a lot that has happened since the last time I talked to you. Major update, major bugs, possibly the biggest bug in gaming. Well, not a bug, biggest error in gaming history. Let's put it that way. And a bunch of other stuff. So anything you want to discuss before we get into this mess?
No, let's jump right into it.
All right, boom. All right, early Sunday morning, some people got this in their account, Australia time zone, and it looks like there were several time zones that were affected. So there's supposed to be 3,000 orb fragments in their account. Well, 3,000 orbs. So some people were lucky enough to open all of these. This is an example of what some people were getting. Equated, I've seen numbers in the 30s, 40s of thousands of dollars in terms of what they spend. What is your reaction to this? Just another day at the office at Scopley?
All right, so let's start from the top. I mean, it is another day at the office for Scopley, but So let's start from the top, because a lot of people are asking, like, I don't get it. How could this happen? Where is there QA, etc.? Now, it's a known thing.
Is there a QA? Is there a QA?
Yes, you and I are the QA.
Oh, God, yeah.
All the players are the QA. We are the QA.
The beta testers.
So, yes, we beta test the app, and they do a lot of this stuff on the fly. Like the calendar, I'm not sure if the calendar falls under live ops, but we know they have a live ops department. And what I've heard through the grapevine is that live ops does a lot of stuff like on the fly, and it's all on them. And then when it doesn't connect with like pre-existing architecture in the game, there was no way to QA it, because like the people who QA stuff get sent like, here's the newest patch, check out the patch, but there is no way to account for like what the on the fly plans of the live ops department are. But they basically have two departments. Well, it's more, but they basically have like simultaneously, they have people working on stuff that's not going to change, and they have people whose job is to make a system that allows them to just, today I want to run this blitz, today I want to run this event, today I want to just to be able to just throw stuff in there literally day of. Like, I had a great idea. Like, look how quickly they got that calendar added for Black Panther. Just throw it right in. That's live ops. So I don't know if this fell under live ops, but a lot of the issues that happen, it's not even possible to QA them. Just live ops needs to not be so damn sloppy. Like, if you're putting stuff in on the fly, you have to double check
there's a process of checking other people's work, double checking your own work. I mean, there is an internal kind of QA thing that they can do. It's not like it's impossible to check. I mean, I go back, I look at errors, you know, I find a bunch of errors in editing. There's even some errors that slip through, but you know, I'm a one-man show, but I catch stuff. I catch a lot of stuff, you know. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't slip through the cracks, but.
Well, so the other context I wanted to give this is for the how this happens. And again, I asked like way back in the day when they made a similar slip up, because they've been doing this for a while. And I was told
the exact same slip up they did about a year ago with the Ultimate 7 Pans of Hulk and Cabal orbs. The exact same thing. Oh,
they do a bunch of this stuff. And so what happens is they use something called string codes, where basically like they just have numerical codes, and maybe it's alphanumerical, but it doesn't matter. They have like just a line of symbols that represent the items, and they go down a list. So when they're populating the calendar, like which item goes here, I'm just making up the numbers, but it'll be like 000331 is orange gear orbs, and then 000332 is orange gear orb frags. And so I don't know if the person punching in that numerical code for what's supposed to go there is doing it off memory, or if they just glance over real quick, like, orange gear,
they're homeschooling their kids, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
Okay, we're done.
Hey, put that down.
Yeah.
Don't chew on your sister's toy. Where's your mother? Type. Yeah.
All right. Next milestone. Yeah. That's probably that might be what I don't know. If that's how they put their code into the game, then man, they may need another system. They may need someone double checking everybody's work before they shove it live. I mean, just having somebody else's eyes on their work. I mean, this. I don't know what to say at this point. There's so many errors that happen in this game. This is like not normal. This is not normal.
No, they get away with
speechless.
it. I've been saying for like 3 years now, they are so lucky they have the Marvel IP, because if this was some IP that they made up and then there were this many bugs, oh man, people put up with it. Like, you ask people like, why do you tolerate like yet another mess up? And they're like, I'm just waiting for Iceman. I just really love Iceman. You're like, oh, okay. That has nothing to do with Scopley.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, this has nothing to do with Scopley. They just love the characters. So.
All right. Well,
yeah.
This was discovered 6 a.m. Pacific time, which is Australia. I think turnover. I don't know. It was just discovered very early on. It went through many different time zones before this was shut down. We got our response early, like Sunday afternoon, and then nothing for 48 hours until a little while ago. Earlier today,
Yep.
Boom. Oh, where are you? Where are you? I gotta turn your camera on. Boom. There you are. All right.
I was here the whole time.
Little earlier today, we got this response on the official Marvel Strike Force website, Twitter, Reddit, Discord, everywhere. Quick recap last week when we made a mistake in the valuable lessons login calendar. Incorrect amount of orange catalyst orb fragments, giving some players 3,000 orbs. The problem was fixed appropriately, and according to this, 3 time zones. I was hearing different in chat. What were you hearing?
I don't know how many time zones were affected, but it depends on when your daily reset is. So you might not even be in that time zone. Like I have a daily reset that's tied to some Canadian or New Zealand time zone from when I started in the soft launch. Okay. So it could, soft launch players could be affected, but basically it was mostly the Australians. It was just the first people to get it, and it was a problem the second it went live, and then it made it a few hours before enough people had gone, this seems oddly generous of them.
So in the response, I mean, and you got to open these. If you look at what the response has been to these kind of bugs in the past, it's like you get to keep a lot of your stuff. So you had to open these, and people were upgrading their characters. Some finishing Dark Dimension 3 for the very first time because of this. Some competing in wars for the first time. So in reviewing this, the dev teams determined the players that receive the incorrect amount of orbs cannot keep them or their contests, as it would create an inequitable advantage within the community. So that was a little debate we're having. I was thinking at this point, after this 48 hours, they couldn't roll this back, but good. Rollback was one of the solutions that I think everybody happy with. So I'm glad they're communicating this. Well, I mean, there's no good solution. Rollback is one of them. What are they going to do? Give the whole everything to everybody? That creates a whole bunch of other problems. So
right.
There's no good solution to this. I think this is what they could have. One of the solutions that they could have done.
This is the solution that I would have recommended. Like, people have been asking, what do you think they should do? And this is the solution I would have recommended. We don't know the specifics of what the compensation is going to be, or how messy and how well thought out the rollbacks for those individuals will be, what stuff they will secretly get to keep, or what stuff will be undone unnecessarily as a result of it. But the only totally fair thing to do would have been to give it to everyone. And yeah, I agree that would have ultimately been worse for the game economy. So
yeah, and then there's gonna have some downtime. They're expecting 2 to 3 hours. Whatever, let them fix it. We just give us some notice in advance if wedding's gonna happen. That's fine. To fix this, they're giving out compensations to 2 different sets of players. The players directly affected by the correction, you receive a compensation package for the resources and time invested, as well as the inconvenience we caused. Now, I know that there were some players in the midst of opening these 3,000 orbs that in the middle of that just went away. So some players open 50, some players open 100, some players open 1,000, some players open all 3,000. So I'm interested to see how they're going to address this. The players that just looking at the orbs that were open, because not everybody got, and some players got it in their account and never opened any. So interesting what's going to happen with that. I'm assuming this is going to be manual rollbacks.
I'd imagine.
Other set of players that are receiving compensation to alleviate the competitive advantage that the other players gained between the time the bug went live and the corrections, the general inconvenience that this issue caused you as well. So 2 different sets of packages, and maybe in this first set, many different types of packages based on what you were able to open and what you were able to complete. You think they're going to roll back progress of some Dark Dimension 3?
I do. And so my guess is if you did Dark Dimension 3 at a pace that you previously hadn't been doing, or you entered during that window, my guess, and there's no proof of this, but they'll probably roll back any Dark Dimension 3 progress and then give a batch like 1,000 Dark Dimension 3 health packs and be like, you know, if we actually cost you a few days of progress, here you go.
What about the players that completed it? They get all the completion rewards taken away. They get all this extra rewards taken away. Their account's gonna look very different when they open it up again.
They'll probably be thrown back in it with some Dark Dimension health packs. I'm like, hey, if you did it the first time, you can do it the second time. Good luck, and yeah, sorry, but.
All right, well, final phase before we move on to the next section. This is a complicated issue. Be carried out in several phases, and we'll continue to keep you updated on the status of this issue all the way through to completion. We understand that corrections like this are extremely frustrating, and they're not something we take lightly. However, the severity of our mistake is such that we can't let affected players keep their progress, nor can we make the incorrect amounts available to everyone. That seems fair. Greatly appreciate your patience while we work on this. So, I mean, it's fair. They have to do this. So all of you players that got to open those orbs, don't be expecting to keep them.
Yeah, no.
You know, yeah. I mean, just they had to do something like this. Giving out the orbs would have been bad as well, but this is probably the best solution. I think. I didn't think it was possible. I thought it wasn't possible. That's why I was surprised that they came up with this.
It's possible, but they'll overlook stuff. They always do. Like it won't be an exact science. It'll be messy, and it'll be done a lot by hand, and they'll approximate stuff. And as long as they're generous enough with the compensation, where it's like, hey, look, this isn't perfect. Maybe you got a little bit too much of an advantage, or maybe we wound you a little bit farther back than you were supposed to. Sorry, but here's some nice perks for everyone. And look, we messed up. Like you can't. You don't want this to occupy. You don't want like 3 months from now they're still going in and like sorting out this issue from months ago of like, oh yeah, you're right, your arena rank should have been 2 spots higher on that day or whatever. Like it's after a certain point.
I hope after this downtime of 2 to 3 hours, it's done. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, whatever that's happens, what they're going for. They're gonna say it's done.
Well, what worries me is it says carried out in several phases, so I'm not sure what that will entail.
Well, I think it's, first they have to identify what was done, then they have to undo it, then they have to undo the effects of it. You know what I mean? So it's like first identify
phases
who got
on
it.
their end, not the player's end, is what that.
I imagine that's what they mean. I think they mean there's a lot of steps to the process. But
when are you expecting this downtime to happen? Sometime this week? You expecting them to have like extensive research, go into a couple weeks? The longer this goes, the bigger this second package is going to have to be for that advantage.
I think they're trying to put it behind them. I'm going to guess like Thursday or Friday, but who knows?
I thought this week as well, but when I saw this several phases, I was like, maybe there's a possibility, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully this is it. Jeez, hopefully it is this week, and this is done as soon as possible.
I don't know, man. It reminds me of this. I don't know if it's a proverb or a saying. We've all heard it, and I don't know like how everyone's heard it worded, but it's always something to the effect of like, "I'm in a hurry, so let's take our time." You know what I'm saying? Like they can really learn from that. Like
they could use that.
And when it's like, why don't you just stop and double check your work? It's like, well, that slows the workflow and we're not able to put out as much content. It's like, how many hours do you spend in meetings going over the appropriate way to undo damage that was done? There's no way it's more time.
They would have too much time in their day. What would they talk about? This is probably like a whole set of meetings just designed to fix things that they've screwed up in the past.
It's probably built into the weekly thing. Like, all right, every Wednesday we meet and talk about what we need to compensate. Yeah. It's like a car compensation powwow every week.
This is why it's business as usual at Scopley, but hopefully it is not business as usual for long. I mean, there is a blog post or a Reddit post here talking about future testing for bugs, and let me make this a little smaller here so we could see this a little better. But talking about future prevention, interesting that the reason I bring this up is Cerebral actually responded to this one. Just talking about the bunch of mistakes on this post. This post is talking about the bunch of mistakes that were made. Response from Cerebral: we cause a technical issue like this, discussing how to mitigate and mitigate repeat errors is always part of the conversation. One thing we've done in order to grip hand strength and urge the grip, get our fat fingers in shape. But all seriousness, we are our harshest critics. The situation has spurred into an audit. A few things are processes, hopefully to prevent future errors. We are a team that shares in successes and missteps. Now, there have been successes. There have been a lot of missteps as well. Do you think this is over? What do you think they've learned from this?
I mean, like, it can't feel good. It's more of like did they get the hint? Like, this one was such a big one, and it's so much work. I would like to say they've learned that it pays to do it right the first time, but
I mean, couple extra minutes, double check your work, saves.
You would think, but I'll tell you this though too. Like, it sounds simple of like, oh, just have people double check it. But even then, I'll tell you this. I know certain things have gotten pushed through, and then I have talked to the person over at Scopley who was like, 3 people signed off on this, and it still went out with this error. Like, none of the people who a bunch of people have to check it, which delays it releasing, and then when it gets released, none of the people who checked it caught it anyway. That's a thing that happens. So
maybe they did have a QA department. Maybe they just need a better QA department, or people that are checking details.
I don't know.
Someone a little more detail oriented in that position. I don't know. It doesn't seem like their QA department is working, or they're double checking. They're not double checking their work enough, because there's a lot that have been happening. I mean, it's crazy the amount they've got.
The phrase, and again, I'm so far removed from all this, so I don't know how it all goes, but I've talked to some people over at Scopley, and I will always remember conversations I used to have with one developer in particular who did a lot of coding, who used to say, like, man, working with some of the people over there who have no code discipline, it is just infuriating. Just
a Wild West.
Them work.
Sounds like the Wild West over there.
Yeah, there's some crazy spaghetti code going on.
Just get it out. All right, on to another note. Let's talk about some fun in the game, because I've been having fun with this new character, Baron Zemo. What are your thoughts on this character coming to the game? Have you tested him? Where are you using him? Zemo? What are your feelings on him?
I've tested him quite a bit. I like Zemo. He's my favorite purple Nazi by far. He definitely has a niche function. So what I like about him is he personally rescues 3 other characters from obscurity. So it's like a give and take, the pros and cons of, like, if you don't have Zemo, or rather, if you are going to invest in Zemo, let's say you got a strong Zemo, you now have to divert resources into characters that you almost certainly weren't, which is Hydra Grenadier, Crossbones, Winter Soldier. So on the one hand, it's like, this character comes with such a cost. Like, I'm not just investing in one character, I'm investing in 4. So that's the downside. But on the plus side, those 3 characters that were just collecting dust and doing almost nothing useful for you, you just plug in Zemo, and it's like, oh, now we got a team ready to go, just like that. And so I like Zemo. He has a very niche function, which is that he is particularly good in Alliance War. Outside of Alliance War, we're not completely done testing that team yet, but they're probably going to be like a mid-range team. There's nothing we've seen indicates that they're going to be crazy.
They're fun.
They are fun, but in particular in War, they crush the Fury Coulson team, they crush the Red Skull Hydra team, and they crush the Taskmaster Mercenary team. So they crush either 2 or 3 of the scariest war defenses. So they have a
now you say crush. What kind of punch ups are we talking about, or punch across, or what?
50K to 100K. Like, they'll do almost an effortless 100K punch up on mercenaries. 50K to 100K on any of those teams.
Nice.
Depending on the power balance, but there's always, I always like to mention this. people hear those numbers and it simplifies it too much. So like against Red Skull plus Hydra, if you have like a giant Crossbones, Winter Soldier, and Grenadier, and then just like a small to medium Zemo, you're not going to be able to do that big of a punch up because the Zemo passive and or special has to get like all the kills.
Got it.
So yeah, it's all like Zemo is most of the team. Everyone else just kind of follows along and gets the benefit of all the things that he brings to the table. But it's kind of like a Taskmaster with the Mercenaries thing where like, yeah, having bigger other mercenary characters is nice, but Taskmaster's doing most of the work. Zemo, same thing. He's doing all the heavy lifting on his team.
Got it. Well, I've been using him in PvP, having a lot of fun with him and the balanced PvP. We'll talk about that when we talk about the PvP mode in a little bit. But you're talking about these punch ups. What teams are you? What team are you using? Who is the fifth Hydra 2.0 character that you're using? Someone like Kingpin, or I've seen Vulture or some fits. What are you finding as the best with your testing?
So for the best, it's kind of situational depending on which team you're facing, but it doesn't really matter. Like I like Kingpin as the fifth, and a lot of people have said they're not crazy about Kingpin because he goes too late to matter. The Winter Soldier ult and the Crossbones ult were already used, but to that I say just hold them. You can use the Crossbones taunt and the Winter Soldier special and then have the offense up and use those big abilities on turn 2. There's no reason you can't. So I like Kingpin just because he doesn't really have anywhere better to go. But
that's a plus. That's a big plus.
Right. It's just having, and I mean, they're all villains. He has some non-attack abilities, which is great. He, his buffs are good. He has summons. So yeah, he does nice stuff. If the summons, happen to drop in the right spots, they can get the evades from Zemo too. But yeah, I like him as a fifth, but he's not necessarily the absolute best fifth. But I haven't seen a match yet where it really matters. Like the core 4 plus anyone, and again, like a certain character might make punch ups easier or able to do bigger punch ups, but I used Ravager Stitcher as the fifth to take down a Red Skull Hydra team, and they walked through them.
Well, I guess if you could use Ravager Stitcher, you could literally use anybody. So
that's what I'm trying to say.
Jeez.
Now again, maybe it's true that I couldn't punch up as far with Ravager Stitcher, whereas if I'd had Ultron, I'll do way bigger punch ups, whatever it is, of course. But you get what I'm saying, which is I do. Yeah, it's only for the punch ups. Now there is one honorable mention I'll give. I don't love breaking up my Guardians for this, but Guardians are kind of far removed from the war meta currently anyway. But someone was using Drax as the fifth, and they were putting Zemo between Drax and Crossbones, with the idea being that Drax kept getting tons of evades, so it was really like they were just stuck attacking this Drax. And then Crossbones could taunt, and he would have a bunch of evades too, so it just kind of protected everyone for a long time. So definitely, yeah, it's a viable option. But I'm probably just gonna stick a homeless character there like Yondu or something, because it hasn't mattered in the as long as you use them for the counter matchup.
They flip flopping with Swarm and Vulture.
Yeah,
both somebody's gonna be homeless on that team, and pretty soon a few other characters are gonna be homeless for that team.
Yep, we can talk about that.
We will. It's a Blitz coming up, but let's talk about this Blitz first, brother. The Zemo Blitz. It is coming up this week, and some interesting new changes to Blitz. And if we go to the current Blitz, we have the reward structure. Oh, not there. Let's go to the Blitz right here. The reward structure for Sabretooth, and it looks like that's going to be the reward structure coming up here for the second iteration of new characters. Is that how you interpreted the blog post with the new characters would be getting these 4 3-star characters pretty much guaranteed on the second iteration of the Blitz?
I'd have to see the wording, but I do remember them saying something like that. I'd have to. Yeah, do you have the wording by chance?
Yeah, let's go to that. There we go. Upcoming Blitzes. Next up is a Son of Evil Blitz featuring Baron Zemo. This will kick off our new reward structure for Blitzes featuring new characters. In addition to character shards, the first Blitz for a new character will feature the Mega Orb. So kind of flip-flopping the order of the Blitzes. So this might switch up the scores of the Blitz.
Yeah, no, this makes sense.
Yeah, the second Blitz, typically scheduled a week later, will reward the Red Star version of that character while take advantage of these rewards while earn a ton of sharps for Baron Zemo. So this Thursday should be the Mega Orb. And then after that should be the this right here.
So usually during the first one, there's going to be the increased Red Star Orb drop chance. So what they're basically saying is when the character first comes out, buy lots of Red Star Orbs and offers and see if you can get Red Stars on them. if you couldn't, the second Blitz, when orbs are no longer a good, they're not good odds for you anymore, now go really ham in the Blitz and see if you can lock up those red stars that you needed. So
interesting timing. Normally the first Blitz has been scoring more for new characters. Do you think this is going to switch up? You know, the scoring. The second Blitz is now going to be the higher scoring Blitz for new characters.
I do, but it depends on where, because like the top 1% and the top 1 to 100 is where a lot of the whales sit. So the whales might still just be like, I want to push as hard as far as I can the first time around, and the sooner I can get this character all the way powered up, the sooner I can push that advantage over other people that don't have them yet. But my gut would say that, yeah, people are going to go harder because they're going to care more about the red stars. So
got it. Now, and what do you think of this? I was kind of happy with this because Blitz release characters kind of been turning people off, and ever since these red stars were released, people have been wanting ways to get red stars for characters. If this is how I'm interpreting it, and how we're both interpreting this, we're gonna get guaranteed red stars for new characters for Blitz release characters, even just by participating, even all the way down here, top 100%. You're getting a 1-star character. Up to 3%, guaranteed 3 stars. So all those people that were lucky opening hundreds of dollars worth of orbs for that new character, if it's a Blitz release character, not that bad if you're a hardcore Blitzer, right?
Yep, not too bad for getting 3 red star, but the game's kind of pushed to the point where you need 4 and 5 for most. 3
is like the basic usable. I mean, I don't even think they're usable without 3.
I'll tell you this, and I'm speaking from pure whale perspective here, but for where like my alliance is at in the game, 4 red stars is kind of the minimum for what we need.
All right, you guys, there's only 100. There's only 100 of them, so you have to blitz harder, my friend. You can't buy these. These no luck. Yeah. The only way you could guarantee this 4-star is this top 100. So blitz harder is the solution for bad luck.
So I have to really, really put in a ton of effort to get top 100. So I don't know how often I'm going to do that, but you know, I'm going to continue doing the whale wars and try to avoid having to push for top 100 as often as possible because it is exhausting.
Well, speaking of scoring in Blitz, what do you think of these changes to the Blitz scoring itself? I think they kept the same scoring for this past Orb Assault and the Red Star Blitz, but these character blitzes, I'm scoring about half. What is your reaction to this? And it looks like 7.0 maybe getting dropping down there, opening up a few extra teams.
I don't love that, but that's just you know, it depends on where you're at in the game. But like for me, I have like 26 or 27 teams at this point that all reliably win an 8-3. So I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. So I tend not to drop down.
Wait, 27? Jeez.
Yeah. I know. We made some good teams this last time around on the Short One Blitz teams. But so this is one of those things where I kind of alienate myself because some people are just like, he's a big dumb whale. All he knows is whale stuff. He doesn't care about us little people. And then so all the whales are like, okay, he's part of our whale crew. And then I say what I'm about to say, which is like, well, this kind of screws the whales. 100%
of everybody watching.
I guess so. Yeah. I guess so.
Are you sure you want to say this? That didn't go so good last time. You have to do a disclaimer.
I got to where I am by speaking my mind.
All right, let's do it.
That's the plan. I don't think this will be quite as controversial, but
I hope not.
But this screws the whales and the end game players, and I'm well aware that I am part of that group, and I'm well aware that most of the people in that group are friends of mine. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that it screws the whales and the end game players because it really helps the newer players and the free to play players who. You know, some people don't believe me, but I've always said that like the free-to-play players are the lifeblood of the game, and at the end of the day, you need to make sure they're having a good time and that it's fair and balanced for them, and that's what makes the core of the community. And then like all the whales are here to show off to all the free-to-play players and make them envious of what they've got, but no free-to-play players, no game. So all the Blitz changes were just one giant shot at Blitz botting. That was the real thing, is they took shots at Blitz botting.
What? No, I thought everybody blitzes 8 minimum times per day. More than that. I wanted more flexibility. That's not for me. That's for blitz botters.
Yeah. So they cut off blitz botting with that, limiting it to 14 hours a day that you can blitz. So
only, man.
now you have to sleep.
I'm sad.
I know, it's a bummer that they cut us off at 14 hours.
No, I guess I could sleep now.
Yeah, I'll probably do some sleeping as well. And then they also, what they did with the score change is they, by basically reducing like how many points you get just for having a giant team and a giant roster, they've made it more important to win, because how it used to be was like your roster would be so big that you could win one and lose one, and you'd still get about the same points as someone with a smaller roster who would win two and lose none. And so by shortening that gap, now if they win two and you win one, lose one, they're going to get ahead of you, which screws the Blitz bots, because they weren't very good at winning. But it screws the giant players who used to just coast on like, I don't need to win that much. All my teams are worth ginormous amounts of points. Well, now they're not.
God, I didn't see the point change as counteracting the Blitz changers, the Blitz Botters as well, but that does make sense. Got it.
They expressed when they made that change, they said they're doing this to make it more about winning and losing and less about just the size of the team you're using. Which is, because people who used to coast on the Blitz bots, their win rate in the matches wouldn't be that good, because those Blitz bots would just throw it on auto and lose plenty of times, but it would just keep going. And so, even if they won 65, 70%, they were getting enough points by doing it so often and having such big teams. But now even if you're like, I'll just let the bot play for me for the 14 hours. Well, now someone who puts in like 8 hours but wins a lot more of their matches might be able to get a similar score. I don't know if that math is exactly right. Maybe it's more, but you get the point.
But yeah, just only 8 hours. Just someone.
It's a lot, but I will say this: like I know you're a working professional and you have a family, and so the idea of playing 14 hours to use is the most ludicrous thing you ever heard. But I do actually think that it's always important to have a game mode where you can play for 14 hours. Like, there are people who can and want to play for 14 hours. I know it sounds crazy. It may not be you, but there are free-to-play players or new players who are just like, I'm trying to get ahead. I don't have a credit card I can use to get ahead, but I'm going to do anything I possibly can. And if I have to play all day, every day, that's how I'm going to get ahead. And those players are out there, and this mode caters to them. And like, of all the game modes in the game, having one game mode that really rewards you for grinding, I think is okay. I think
I like the rewards. You don't have to grind as much with the new reward structure. So 2 of the 3 changes were very questionable. This reward structure, it screws some of the players that were going super hard and were finishing in the top 100, but everybody else this benefits pretty much. Especially with these red stars included.
Yep.
So at the worst, you're getting red star fragments if you already have this character. So
top 1% is easier than top 2000 was, because top 1% is like roughly ranked 2,850, somewhere in there. And 100 shards is better than the 85 we were getting, and then red star or mega orb frags, whatever it is, it's good. So yeah, this reward structure is one that I've been asking for like 3 years. So it's definitely better.
It is.
Even though it's worse for a lot of my alliance mates and stuff. But
your blubbery friends.
I don't care.
Everybody else, it's good for them.
My blubbery friends will say, like, dude, this sucks for us. Why aren't you upset? And I'm like, deal with it. We're doing better than everyone.
All right, more Blitz releases. Electro looks like it is the character coming after Baron Zemo. So as far as timing of that, we have Zemo on the 3rd and the 10th. So it looks like Electro going to be on the 17th and the 24th of September, unless something crazy happens. Timing of this, and another Blitz release character, another guaranteed 3-star if you're a hardcore Blitzer.
Well, depending on where you're at, could be guaranteed 4-star if you're super hardcore.
Oh yes, if you're the blubbery brethren.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my
if
shirt
you're part
for
of the
all
blubbery
you.
brotherhood.
All right, so what are your thoughts on Electro coming to this via Blitz?
So I'm not thrilled at a second Blitz release. Like, I don't mind it, and I get it, and just sometimes they do Blitz releases for characters. But Blitz is tiring, so it's just another Blitz where I have to work really hard to get the amount of shards I want for the character. That's all fine and dandy.
Top 100 both times.
I don't know about that. I have to see the rewards for the first pass, but I'm not seeing a strong reason to go for top 100.
Mega orbs, they're getting better. The mega orbs are getting better slightly every time.
Maybe.
Slightly.
But it's still random. I don't know.
I don't know. I guess for the whales, you already have them at 7-star by the time they go to the Mega Orb, so the Mega Orb changes don't matter.
Not me. Very rarely for me, but I do usually have them at 6, and it's usually to the point where like most people don't. I'm pretty blubbery, but I'll usually have them at 6, and then even then, where it's like, oh, but you could get them in the Mega Orb, and it's like I'm at 20 out of 300. Even if I got 100 drop for the character, I'd still be so far away on an unfarmable character. So I just don't really care.
All right, so well, you could get a lot of Mega Orbs if you blitz really, really hard. So cumulative, they'll add up. They'll add up, maybe. Let's see how much they're giving.
I'm thinking like every 4th Mega Orb blitz, you might be able to get like 1 Mega Orb.
It is very, very possible.
If it was like you get a Mega Orb for doing this, like maybe.
They used to back in the old days. Back in year 1, they did that.
Yeah, I remember raid releases for characters too. Right?
Oh my goodness, yeah, and orbs that used to just have the character in it. You remember things like that? It was so far ago. I don't know if that's still in your memory, but
I do. I remember in the character event campaigns getting a random amount of shards. You could use all your energy and get none of the orb frags.
Ebony Maw is returning. Rejoice! It is time to rejoice. She is coming. He is coming back. Ebony Maw still relevant for players getting him on this iteration. Still a part of the meta.
The most relevant.
The most relevant.
He is a top 3 character in the game. Period.
So yes, build up your Inhumans then, guys. He is very good. If you're close to getting all of your Inhumans to 5-star, build them up. What are your thoughts for players getting him this time? How valuable will he be to their Black Order team or other teams in general? Raid.
Yep, he'll be invaluable. He'll be invaluable to their Black Order team because you can't have empowered Thanos without all 5 members, I guess, unless they were using a Sinister and cloning, but it's not the same. So he'll be invaluable to the Black Order teams. Excuse me. As a plug and play character, he's kind of interesting. He is pretty good with Thanos, and there are some hybrid raid teams that use Thanos and Ebony Maw, and that can be done. But the main thing, kind of like Sue Storm, is he has incredible like protective and supportive abilities, but they're just on long cooldowns. That's it. They're on long cooldowns. And the other thing I've noticed that would make him more raid viable is there's actually very few hero controllers. Maybe it's just my lane, but there's like very few hero controllers in Ultimate 7 for him to have.
Certain nodes have a bunch, and then there's some with none. So
yeah, it seems to be the boss nodes with none. But,
one of them all the way on the side. If you go into all the way on the right side, a few of the mini bosses have some controllers here and there.
Oh, that's good. But
are you in the middle? Are you in the middle?
Yes.
That's the hard one. That's the hard one.
I know. Well, I have a series coming out. Just a quick plug. I have a series. The first video should post probably before this video, where I'm showing how to one-shot every node in the lane all the way through. Even the boss node, even the final Ultimus boss node can be one-shot.
I'm sorry. You're gonna have to do that video a couple times for each lane.
Hold on, I take it back. The final node, so I can be 2-shot by one person. Ooh. They can't be 1-shot, 2-shot by one person.
Ooh, I look forward to that. I'm struggling with that final boss. But scrolling down here, we have a Blitz Orb update. So awesome. Domino. Farmable in the game. And if you guys are listening to the podcast version, I did the air quotes. She arrived at her new home in the Blitz Orb. She'll be a Blitz Orb exclusive, kind of like Rescue was. 10% drop rate, won't be available for purchase in the store at this time. So fully expecting that Rescue treatment. Where do you think she becomes farmable? Somewhere else, kind of like Rescue did, and then returning to the Blitz Orbs? I was thinking the Thor node, but this is kind of reverse of what happened to Rescue. So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think this is obviously not her final place, but do you see her getting a campaign or some other way of farming her anytime soon?
I do. I think this is going to become one of their go-to crutches. I mean, it'll depend on how it pans out, but I think this will become one of their go-to crutches for like, oh, we need to make one of the characters for this legendary event available. Well, let's be like, well, the route to get this character is to blitz like crazy and then cross your fingers.
More blitz time in the game. That's what I see in this update.
I just putting it behind multiple rounds of RNG just feels bad. Like the truth is, you can get blitz credits kind of quick, It does force you, however, to be buying Blitz orbs, which kind of screws you in Alliance War because you can't buy your war supplies if you're spending all your Blitz currency on Blitz orbs. And then again, it's just worse just because RNG. Like, yeah, if you buy enough, but like 10% is saying for every 10 Blitz orbs you buy, you'll get 5 of her shards. That's horrible. That's really, really horrible. And the idea that like someone could buy 3 orbs and get 15, and you could buy 15 orbs and get 5.
Or 0.
Well, I didn't want to go there, but yeah, or 0.
It's true. You can get 0. You can buy 50 and get 0 with this orb.
I know. It's really bad. I wish they wouldn't do this. It's not fair to people. But
well, how valuable is Domino? Do you think that people should be going hard on her because, I don't know if she has any value outside of a team without Deadpool in any game mode. And this is a war offense team pretty much. So should players really be going hard? And there is that unlock thing for that legendary thing. But,
right. Yeah, that little thing. So that's the main thing. Yeah. Domino doesn't need to be crazy big for the X-Force.
You just need the stars for the unlock.
Right. So the shards really is all you need.
Yeah. Don't build her. She's not that good, but just get the shards and star her up.
The longer she lasts on X-Force, the better for all the evades she passes out. So it's good for her to be able to stay on the field.
As far as playing with her or not, but just mainly Doc Ock. You're farming Doc Ock with these Blitz orbs. Chaos Theory returning, and usually this is a happier time, but this kind of reminds us of stuff that happened earlier in the week to Chadwick Boseman. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But what are your thoughts of Wakanda Nation and Chaos Theory returning? Double drop for some Wakandans, and then promotion credits, silver and gold, depending where your Wakandans are at.
I'm always happy to see this event coming back around. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Right now I only have enough gold promo credits to take someone to 6 red star, and after this Chaos Theory, I'll be able to take someone to 7 again. So.
All right, who is the candidate that you're looking at, or the candidates you're looking at?
I actually don't have one in mind that I want to immediately promote to 7. I just like having that in the chamber. So you never know when a brand new character comes out and you get them at 6 and you're like, all right, let's do this.
Got it. Well, I won't have enough gold this time for any promotions, but silver, I think all of it's going to Emma. All right, and we talked about the sad news. Chadwick Boseman passing away, surprising. I did not know he was even battling cancer, and apparently he was diagnosed in 2016. So Black Panther movie, a lot of the Endgame movies, fighting cancer, reaching out to kids that are battling cancer, inspiring a lot of people, and going through this himself. Surprising. What are your thoughts on this?
It's tragic. The man was a cultural icon, and for good reason. And when I first saw the story, I was like, is this a prank? Like, is this a joke? I
thought the exact same thing.
Wouldn't we know if he'd been battling cancer this whole time? Apparently not.
And that says something about his character, just going through this fight, not making it public, not looking for sympathy, not looking for, oh, feel sorry for me. No, just fighting and inspiring people and working, going to work through all this, making hit movies and charities and all that. So yeah, I don't know. It's good person.
One of the few strong forces for good that was counteracting all the divide and all the racial bias and prejudice and all the nonsense that's going on in the world. And like one thing that pretty much everyone could come together and say, most people anyway, was like, Black Panther was a good film and he's a great addition to the whole Marvel roster, and everyone was just really happy with it. So it was bringing people together. It's a good thing.
So you think anything in game as a result of this, other than what was given out in the shards, the Black Panther shards that we talked about a little earlier? Do you think anything happening? I know Wakandas have been needing a rework for a while. Do you think this is something that would spark that, or not really affecting game?
I think this is all they're going to do in the immediate future. I'd love to be wrong. Like, I like the Wakanda.
I would love to do just Wakandas. They needed that for a while. This would be a good time for that to happen.
My guess with Wakanda is that they'll get a new character, and then they'll get reworks and everything when they get the new character, whether it's like Wakabi with the War Rhinos, or whether it's Nakia, or whether it's King T'Chaka, something like that. They'll get a new character probably, and that'll that'll give the team a tune-up. That's my guess, but yeah, I'm ready for the rework tomorrow. So
we'll see. I've been waiting for the rework for over a year now. All right, happier notes here. Let's talk about these milestones, valuable lessons. Very, very appropriate title for the associated milestones with this guy. I mean, the associated login rewards with this, but the milestones, I'm pretty happy with this. We got all these mini uniques. Pretty easy to get. I mean, I haven't really done much since login. I'm already at like 142, so I'm hitting these pretty easily every day. What are your thoughts on these milestones? I love these.
Yeah, they're great.
Do you think this is like an event that they want to do more often? How often do you think they should bring this back? Because it looks like it's lasting for, a little over a week.
Yeah, I love it. So my theory is like this is part of their as they need more people done with DD3 to hype up DD4, and they need more people reaching gear tier 14 so they can hype up gear tier 15. So this is part of what they always do, which is when they have those things on the more immediate horizon, they kind of shove people along and let everyone get to the finish line of what's currently out there right before cutting the ribbon on the new section that everyone is going to have to progress very slowly. But and again, like I don't want this to come across wrong. Like I love these milestones as well. They're great, and I'm enjoying every second of them.
What are you say?
Well, it's in a weird way. Like it feels like they just wanted to give us this stuff, which I'm okay with. But in other,
I like it. I love it. Find ways to give it to us. Find ways to help players catch up, because I've been missing a lot of his resources.
Again, it's not a real criticism, but I kind of am just like, you could have just put it in our inbox. If you just do your arena and raid, you're gonna get it anyway. So it's nice, but I don't know. It just feels like a bunch of extra clicking of claim. Like you could have just mailed it to me if I wasn't gonna have to do much to get it.
It's too much clicking to get these rewards.
I'm not. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
I know. They're easy. That's a good thing, though. That's not a bad thing.
No, I don't mind them. I'm happy with them easy, but normally, there's, at least like a couple towards the end, like you got to put in some effort, or like maybe like sub one character onto a team.
Hey, you realize there's people that don't do all their arena matches every day. There's people that don't that aren't in competitive raid alliances or war alliances. This is challenging for some people. Not everybody plays this as often as us, so.
I'm not asking for a change. If they want to bring it back exactly as is, they could do this every day for the rest of the game. I'm fine with it.
Run this every so often. This is just, every month do something like this. Every week of a month. 1 week of a month do something like this is what I think. PvP, where did it go? It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. All right. Well, it was here, and it was fun. I had fun with it. What did you think of the real-time PvP, the milestones for it? I thought the milestones were fun. Are the milestones even still here?
Nope.
No, they're not. They're gone too. But what did you think of the real-time PvP?
Well, so I mean, it's the same. Like real-time PvP didn't change. It was just matchmaking.
The matchmaking. Yes. Excuse me. Yeah, the matchmaking for real-time PvP that's gone.
Right. At one point, they made a comment like, "Hey, as this is going on, we're continuing to fine-tune the matchmaking. So stay tuned. We're working on it." But in the first 2 days that it was live, I was getting matched with people who had 25% of the characters available for PvP. And it just was totally unfair. Even in balanced draft, it just felt like cyberbullying. I literally, at first I was like, ooh, this will be a good stream, do a lot of PvP, maybe make a video. And then I played 3 matches, all of which were just this character, the person I'm playing has 1 legendary character and I have all of them. It's not even...
Yeah, I heard about some bad matchmaking.
Yeah, early on, I was like, I refuse to make a video about this. It just makes me look like a cyberbully, and this it's just not fair to my opponents. I was banning aim characters, trying to make it easy on people, but it's when they can't pick valuable characters away from you, I was just getting the most overpowered characters every time. So I literally, after the first 4 matches, I was like, I'm not playing this anymore.
Right, how was your previous? Because I didn't try it early on. I lost 1 match and I played probably about 10 or so, but people, I don't think they were playing as much PvP. So some of the combos, some of the drafting, some of the pairs that go with each other, I don't think people were fully aware them. And let me talk about Zemo right now, because he is my favorite in Balanced Draft. Him, Crossbones, X23. Game over. You get those three in your team, game over. So I'm revealing a lot of secrets now that we found out on
just the double ability block and the AoE.
Yeah, that's it. It's hard to come back from that. It's super early ability, but two very early ability blocks and that AoE.
So what I mean, I didn't find that too crazy. A lot of people were trying like ability block and debuff heavy teams, and there's enough characters in the game where they can't get them all. So like, just as an example, if you could get like Sue Storm, Invisible, or sorry, that is Invisible, and Emma Frost and like Squirrel Girl, like, well, you can't ability block them all, and one is just going to cleanse all the others. So I was doing a lot of that. But yeah, a lot of people were using the old PvP meta that they'd seen on like videos I'd made back in the day or someone else.
They were using old teams is what I was finding. And some of these newer characters like Emma, like Zemo, they're like just wiping those teams out. So.
Yep. I think I lost to one person. And I was troll banning for everyone, trying to give people the little advantage because I play a lot of PvP. And I did lose to one person. I think like you, I played about like 10 matches, and the person I lost to was a good sport about it and happened to be in my global and wanted to go for more. So we ended up playing a best of 5, and I ended up going 3-2, but they beat me a couple times. They were in Legion of Cabal. So
okay. No, that's fun. It's fun. What's because you don't know who you're playing. Sometimes I'm playing on stream and we talk beforehand. You don't know who you're playing. You don't know if they know what they're doing, or you don't know if they're like a total noob. You can just judge by the size of the roster, and yeah.
I didn't run into anyone who seemed to really know what they were doing, but I was playing against a lot of, like, I recognized a fair amount of the names were like whales that I'd run into in Alliance War and stuff, and it was fun. It was fun. Like, hey,
you have
all
to. They match your roster size. You're matched with those kind of players. That's why.
Right. But I'm saying I like it because they know, when they get in the 1v1 for the balanced draft, they got nothing to say. They got to put up or shut up. So. I love it. I love the matchmaking because they have no choice.
It's fun. I had fun with it. I hope they bring this back. And we got word of that just before we started recording here, brother. The verse battle ahead. So last week we introduced this verse battle match. We want you to know we're running various events with a feature over the next couple months to evaluate a variety of supporting mechanics. So PvP, it looks like they're really pushing forward with this. This makes me happy. This is a mode that I enjoy, and as a prime example, many players have requested a non-draft version of verse battle, and we are delighted to announce Quick Match, a new mode starting September 2nd until September 8th. Once Quick Match is live, you can access it by going to the events page. So this is something that takes a lot of time building this, and I guess if you're picking your own team, you're gonna have the ability to do duplicate teams.
Yeah, duplicate characters, yeah.
It looks like they're doing more and expanding on PvP. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm all for it. I think Quick Match is not going to be quite as skill involved because you might just end up playing into a team that you just weren't going to be able to beat because the characters, like if you play a debuff heavy team into a team with a bunch of cleanses, you're just
that's true. You can't pick your opponents, or you don't know your opponent beforehand, so you might bring in the wrong team that doesn't counter it at all.
Yep, but I think most people will enjoy it. Most people will be trying combos and catching people off guard and doing weird stuff. But I think towards the top...
Crossbones, X23.
X23 I can see, and Zemo there's time and a place, but I don't know about the Crossbones.
It's big. It's balanced draft.
Just the turn 1 boom?
Turn 1 boom. Putting people into the reds, normally.
There's a lot of good turn 1 AoEs. I don't know.
Early. It's super early, though.
All right, you run that. We'll see.
Do it. Try it. You like it.
All right.
So it is almost my favorite time of the weekly news update, but we had a little discussion about what is a whale a little earlier offline. So we wanted to throw it to you guys. What is a definition of a whale? What do you think defines a whale? Now you were saying a little earlier. Well, I'll let you just go. What were you saying earlier?
Well, so there's no official definition of a whale, but some people say like, oh, if you spend $100 in a month, you're a whale. For me, I've always drawn the line at like, if it's $400 or more every month, for me, that's where, like, for me, you're a whale, that's like $100 a week. That's like a significant dock off your weekly paycheck for a mobile game. So that's where I draw the line.
I was thinking it'd be higher than 4. I was like 1,000 because there's players that spend that much. There's players that spend some here and there. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what the definition is, guys. I don't know if there's an official definition, but what is your definition? Let us know in the comments. And what is the term for someone that's been playing a long time, like since beta?
We need a better term for an end game player, even if they're not necessarily a whale. Once they're to the point where they're like 7 mil TCP, even if it's like, but I'm not a whale, I don't spend that much. It's like, yeah, well, whatever. You know, you're
playing
for
a long time. You have that's not a bad thing, though. It shouldn't be a stigma.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about rumors. There's been some rumors recently. It looks like the latest on the rumor mill. Gam, Ro, Agent are out, at least for this next patch, and 3 characters are in. What have you heard about these? Drew has had some hints. I think most people are figured it out by now. So what have you heard?
Oh, I mean, I've heard a lot of the same that everyone seems to be hearing, which is a couple of symbiotes and a young Avenger.
Woo! All right, I think most people know who they are by now. They've been out and stuff, but if you haven't, but we're gonna talk about them. So leave your guesses in the comments. Pause the video, leave your comment, leave your guess, and all right, let's talk about that.
All right, I don't think anyone did that, but
I don't think they did either. But I give you props if you did.
So what's the interesting one to me, right? We're hearing Scream, I believe, which is that's fine. You know, Scream's run-of-the-mill symbiote. Nice addition to the team. But the interesting one is with the rumor of Agent, it makes me interested at the other rumor being anti-venom. And I've actually had people go back and forth. Some people are saying no, Agent Venom. Some people are saying anti-venom. I think people are confused on whether it's one, whether it's
two
both.
Different characters, right?
Right. Well, they are different characters. The question is which one are people saying is coming this patch, and which one are people saying is coming in a future patch. So I think the consensus. That seems to be the consensus.
Is what people are saying. And Agent is sometime in the future because Agent is with Gam and Ro. Agent's not with the other symbiotes and the other young Avenger. That makes me very happy.
Right. So yeah, that makes it. Oh yeah, we're gonna touch on that. But yeah, so it's interesting that potentially that could mean a 6-man symbiote team.
They're having a bunch of those. X-Men has a bunch of extra members. Sinister Six is having a bunch of extra members.
Yes, they are expanding the tags, and I do like that. But it's interesting that as opposed to all the pre-existing teams, like rushing to include several symbiotes just seems like an interesting play.
I think they wanted to complete the team. I think they wanted to complete the team. So hype level. How hyped are you if these are indeed the characters that are coming?
Pretty hyped. So I have all 3 of the current symbiotes at gear tier 14. I have 2 at 6 red and 1 at 5 red. So my symbiotes are rocking and rolling. They're very, very strong. So I'm welcoming some additions to that team if that's what we get. I'm so ready. However, I'm also really enjoying how good the current Young Avengers are, and my 5th for a lot of things for the Young Avengers is Gamora, who is ready to be replaced, we'll just say. She's just there because she's a hero brawler. She doesn't have a better place to be, and the team is fine even with her. The other 4 are so strong. But if we get a new character, like the rumored She-Hulk for that team, that'd be the real deal. Yeah, She-Hulk is pretty strong. She's known to roll with that crowd, makes a nice addition. So
I think I would like it. And then hopefully, kind of like the normal Avengers, you could split them off and maybe make a full Hulk team. Hulk goes off normal Avengers, She-Hulk goes off of Young Avengers, maybe adding more. So, you got options to make the best version of the team, and you have some sitting on the sideline. That kind of would be cool. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're investing in a lot of characters, but it'll be cool. But let me ask you this: symbiotes right now, they dominate the city lanes in Dark Dimension 3. Are you expecting these other 2 symbiotes to have the city tag or the cosmic tag for people that have not finished that whole Dark Dimension 3 yet?
I mean, there's no way to know, but I would say probably city tag, just because city tag is the one that needs the most love and needs to get filled out. I don't know the character's comic origins or anything well enough. I shouldn't say origins. I guess they're all space aliens, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where most of their comic stories take place. I don't know if it's a lot of interplanetary or if it's a lot of inner city, but my guess is they'll try to keep it consistent throughout the team. But they do some weird stuff, like some of the Inhumans are global and then some are cosmic. So they're kind of,
yeah, there's some from the moon and there's some from Earth. So maybe that's how they'll treat the symbiotes.
Yep, we will see. But I did want to just throw out this back on the potential Hulk team one day. I just want to remind you that they have had models and stuff done for not only Red Hulk. They've had Red Hulk done. Now my guess is Red Hulk,
I remember this.
Abomination.
Yes.
So if we have Hulk and She-Hulk and Red Hulk and Abomination, they'd only need to make one more character, and you'd have your
Cho.
I don't know.
Amadeus Cho. He's like I think he's a Korean Hulk.
Could go Amadeus Cho. I don't know him that well.
He was in Future Fight when I played. I don't know too much about him.
Could go Professor Hulk or Joe Fixit Gray Hulk. Could go
Maestro was another
I was
character
gonna say Maestro,
in Future Fight.
Yep, Maestro. Could go the Hulk dog from the Eric Bana movie.
Gladiator version as well.
Yeah, I could go Gladiator Hulk.
Yeah, Big Hulk would be cool. I don't like the mini Hulk in the game.
Oh, a properly sized Hulk?
That would be cool, just to have the Hulk in the game.
The real Hulk? Yeah, not
the real Hulk, not the fake Hulk.
We got Chibi Hulk.
All right, well, that is about it. Unless you have anything else, my friend.
No, I think that's the latest.
All right, well, tell everybody where they could find you. What are you doing nowadays?
So I now have a video editor that thinks they can keep up a crazy pace. So we are going to be doing...
We will see.
I'm going to put them to the test. I'm doing daily live streams on Twitch every day at 1 p.m. Pacific time. We are back. So if you enjoy the daily Twitch streams, twitch.tv/Khasino every day at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And let's see if I can overwork my video editors.
Nice. Well, I'll be on Twitch every morning. You could be on there every afternoon, and there's a bunch of people on the evening. So hopefully I will see you there, guys. ValleyFlyin 76 is where you can find me. You can check out Khasino with the links down below, and merch. It is going on sale this weekend, guys. So check out the link. bit.ly.vf merch. I will see you guys next time. Hulk Fist Bump, ValleyFlyin, and Khasino out. Woo!